Hello and welcome to your Off the Dome Sports podcast, brought to you by The Know. Follow them on Twitter and Facebook at Be In The Know, spelled Kneaux, the only way to spell it. This is the Off the Dome Sports podcast, where two, most times three, sports lovers give their hot takes off the dome. How are we doing, fellas?
I'm doing excellent.
Excellent. Eggs come from chickens. Rebo, how are we doing?
It's a great day in paradise.
Paradise. I love it. So a lot of things have happened
Yeah.
since we've been gone. I see the chat. It's popping off already. Redfish?
Redfish is in the chat.
Redfish is in the chat saying, hello, what's up, boys? I see Ethan. I see The Know. Shout out to The Know. It is the only way to spell it. So a lot of things have happened since we were here. I mean, it's definitely since I was here.
Yeah. We wanted to get an episode out a little sooner, but me and Soundman, when the Tigers beat Wake Forest that night, we decided, you know what? We're going to Omaha.
Woof.
So we left that morning, came back a few days later after the Tigers beat the Florida Gators. It was a great experience. And, since we came back, we still, as you could see, a big-ass box over there. We're still getting settled in over here. Don't even have sheets on my bed. So, we're kind of moving slow, but we'll be picking up the pace shortly. And, one more month till Redfish is back for good.
Right. That's exciting.
Yeah.
We miss you, Redfish.
We do.
Well, we'll see him on Friday, Wednesday, though.
Yeah.
He'll be
glad we get a few days. He'll be back for a few days before he flies out again. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to meet up. Maybe maybe do an episode with him while he's back.
Right.
Something.
How you doing, Rebo?
Start a new job.
He's doing.
Just do what I do.
Fair enough.
Exciting week. Tigers win.
Tigers win. We need a soundboard, man. You need to find a soundboard.
Tigers win.
For like whenever we mention the Tigers or Tigers win, and it's like a roar, like roar. Like I can't do a Tigers roar. Personally I can't. But like if there was a button that we could push, like roar.
Yeah. I'll make sure to get my editor, also my brother P-Rex, on that. He'll come up with something.
We had a lot going on in the past week too.
Yeah.
So not just college baseball, and also the NBA draft was this week.
Right.
Past 3 days, NBA offseason news has been popping off. So we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah. So let's get started. Give me both of y'all. Give me y'all thoughts on the College World Series final, the final matchup between the Tigers and the Gators.
Okay. Did you guys? I wasn't able to listen to last pod. I was traveling. What did you guys mention the last game against Wake Forest? Or did that not happen?
No.
Yet?
So we did. The last podcast we did was during the first game of Wake Forest.
Right. So it all starts with this rubber match against Wake Forest. We have one more. We get Skeens. They get Louder. Anticipated.
It was such
a pitching battle.
Yeah,
anticipated
such a great
to be
game.
a great matchup, and boy was it. I mean, it's one of the best baseball games I've seen in a long time, especially because my team won. Right.
True. Yeah,
It's
that's always
made
a big
me happy.
factor.
But no, Skeens and Louder, they both go into the 8th or something.
Yep.
And then the game goes 0-0 in extras. Tommy White walks us off. And then we get Florida. We get Florida on a week rotation because Skeens just pitched.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to use Skeens against Florida.
Yeah, and they
1 day rest.
Florida decided to, they kind of played it a little more aggressive because they didn't throw their ace the first game.
Right.
And it cost them because that was, the Tigers took the first game on Saturday.
What's our ace's name? Waldrop?
Yes,
him?
Hurston Waldrop.
Waldrop.
Yep. They threw their second best pitcher, and so did we. But Ty Floyd had a night that first
for
game.
The history books.
Yeah, 17 Ks, the most in College World Series history. And the whole stadium was electric the whole time. Every time he walked up to the mound, it felt like, here comes 2 more strikeouts. And the crowd knew it. We were just electric. I mean, I was in the nosebleeds for that game, and still the crowd was roaring.
And then that first game even ended up having to go into extras.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like these Tigers were battling all throughout, and we ended up because of a Cade Beloso home run.
Yes,
Belly
the
bomb.
35-year-old construction foreman with the big home run at the I think it was the top of the 11th.
Right.
And,
Yeah. Because
yes.
we were the away team.
Yeah, he hit the big bomb, and then Cooper comes out and just shuts him down.
Not on him.
Yeah, well, great series for Coop. I mean, he came out, and you could see how excited he was, how hyped up he was whenever he struck out that last batter and walked off the mound and just flexed.
Right. Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah. And then we had the second game.
Yeah, then we got punched in the mouth.
That was the game they pitched Waldrop. We pitched, was it Ackenhausen?
Ackenhausen.
We
yeah.
pitched Ackenhausen, who was great against Wake Forest.
And he even started off the game really good against Florida,
Right,
too.
Right. But he got in a little bit of jam in that second game against Florida, and then an error, and then...
Was our only day game of the entire
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Tigers
World
on at
Series.
night.
Right. In that error by Jordan Thompson, it wasn't all his fault, the loss, but it really shifted the momentum.
Yeah.
You know, and we give up, what was it, like 5-6 runs that inning?
Yeah, you
Something
turn
like
two
that.
and get out of there real quick, and instead you give up 5-6 runs.
So we ended up losing that game by 20.
Yeah.
But that was good for us, honestly, because we saved our
Yeah.
arms.
Yep.
We were able to get Bryce Collins in there. We were able to get
Christian
Little in
Christian
there.
Little.
Like guys
Blake
who
Money.
haven't been playing. So we were able to rest our arms, rest our Gavin Guidrys, rest our Riley Coopers.
Yeah. Jay played it really well, and you know, he didn't necessarily concede, but he played it smart and knowing not to throw his best arms because it was going to be tough to come back from that, and it proved to work wonders because the next game Tigers came out, took that loss to heart, and they came out and ran with it.
Right. Baseball it's such a tough sport because at any given moment a team can turn it on and get red hot and light you up. But the key to a good baseball team is having thick skin. Like you can get beat and you could get beat bad, but you can't carry that into the next game. And the Tigers did really well of letting that 20-run loss brush off them, and they come up the next day and they get a great start out of
Thatcher Hurd.
Thatch. Yeah, Thatch's curveball was working that day.
Well, even he was resilient on that day because he first inning gave up 2-run shot.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
He bounced back immediately.
bounced
Right.
back. Offense got behind him. It was just one I'll never forget that day.
You're
I
right.
wasn't even there.
Yeah, me neither.
I wasn't even there.
I mean, it was 14-year drought since the Tigers won the College World Series, and what can I say? This was a very special team.
Yeah.
That we had all year.
Yeah.
Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens might go 1 and 2 off the board. I hope so, because that means
That means your Nationals will get one of 'em.
My Nationals get one of them. I'm really hoping that the Nationals don't skip on either Skeens or Cruz and take Langford.
Dude's got a crazy bat though.
No. Don't get me wrong. I love Wyatt
Yeah,
Langford. I think he's great, but he's not an LSU Tiger. You know what I mean? I'm a LSU Tiger fan. So if I can get a great talent out of Dylan Cruz,
Yeah.
or a Paul Skeens, I mean, I'm all for it. There was before the final game that solidified our championship. I was on Twitter and there was this guy. Me and my dad were talking about. There was this guy. He was talking about how he doesn't see the hype around Dylan Cruz. He sees a lot of rollover in his swing. He
I saw this video too.
You saw it? He sees that Dylan Cruz will never be an all-star. And then in the comments, someone commented that his player comp is Clint Frazier for the Cubs and Yankees and White Sox. And the guy was like, I wholeheartedly agree. Dylan Cruz went 4 for 6 that night. So, like, you can say what you want. He was on base every single game.
Yeah, every game this
I think
season.
it's a 75-game streak or something like that, dating back to last year.
Right. Say what you want about Dylan Cruz's power. Say what you want about his hitting at times. Say what you want about his defense. he can see the baseball.
Yeah.
His plate vision and his eye is the best in college baseball and the best that I've seen in a while. So I'm excited to see what he does in the majors. I'm excited to see what Skeens does in the majors. Thoughts on this team, guys? Any final thoughts? Because I doubt we're going to be coming back to the to the 2022-2023 LSU Tigers baseball team much. So final thoughts.
I mean, I do think this team will be talked about for a while. It was kind of like a unicorn team. Like, don't get me wrong, I think LSU is going to have a good baseball team for years to come because Jay Johnson is a recruiting god, and you know he gets these players because they want to come to Louisiana, they want to come play baseball for LSU. They know the history behind it. But this team was special, and tell you what, that 15-hour drive to Omaha, Nebraska was miserable, but worth it. 100% worth it. I mean, you get out there, and it looked like we were in Baton Rouge with how many Tiger fans there were. And not only that, but turns out the people in Omaha love LSU. Probably because we go there and spend a lot of money.
Right.
Like
it's good for their economy.
Yeah, especially when we get to the alcohol partaking business in Omaha, Nebraska.
All the Jello shots.
Because LSU definitely set a record that I don't think will ever be broken with the Jello shots. So previously, the record set by Ole Miss for a single team was around 18,000 Jello shots, which is a good bit of Jello shots. It's a good bit of money. They donate $1. The Jello shots are $5. They donate $1 to the Omaha Food Bank, another $1 to whatever team you pull for as food bank, and so they make a $3 profit on each Jello shot, depending on how much it costs to make them. But so yeah, they made a lot of money off LSU, to say the least, because we took that record by Ole Miss and
tripled it,
spat on it.
right.
With 68,888 Jello shots. We over doubled the record for a combined record, which was about 30,000.
Right.
Also set last year with the teams that were in the College World Series last year.
A lot of people were raising their eyebrows and throwing question marks at this Jello shot thing because LSU had people donating, to like Todd Graves, founder of Canes. He donated like 6,000 Jello shots or whatever it was. It was something like that, and he boosted LSU's numbers, and a lot of people were angry about that because of the competition. But let's be real, it's for charity.
Yeah,
like it's for this business and it's for charity. $1 goes to the food bank and $1 goes to the team food bank. So it's like, who are you really hurting? I think the main thing, it sets a precedent for future College World Series to come.
Yeah.
Like the next team that, if it's not the Tigers in Omaha in the future, there might be another team there who has people from their home donating. And like, I think that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Because we're getting more money to these charities.
Yeah. And it's a great thing, especially when we're talking about Jello shots. I love Jello shots.
Not me. Not me. They're gross, man. I can't do it.
But yeah, going back to Omaha, we had a great time, and the fans were just unreal. Like the amount of Tiger fans that were there. We get into the stadium and we see nothing but purple and gold, and then they have one section of just orange throughout the whole stadium. Just one section on both sides, and going back to Jordan Thompson, a lot of people were complaining and hating on Jordan Thompson whenever when we got to Omaha. He wasn't doing so well. His bat just kind of fell off the face of the earth, basically. And then that last night, after he made those two big errors in the previous game against Florida, a lot of people were mad about it. But when he came up to bat the first time, the entire LSU fan base that was at the stadium was chanting Jordan Thompson and clapping, and you could tell that he heard it. Well, I know he heard it because we were loud as hell.
Right,
you can hear it loud and clear on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and right after that, he hits a double. He gets onto the base and he just points at the crowd, and you could tell that he felt that special moment. He finally coming through for his team. The crowd loved it. And after that, that was kind of like the turning point of the game when he did that and scored the run, hit the double. After that, the bats just went off,
Right.
Ended up scoring 18 runs in a great game. And, me and the crowd loved every second of it. Magical moment.
Yeah, especially for himself. Like, he'll have that. I made a mistake in the second game, but I came back the third game, and I did something to benefit my team, and I corrected my error from the game before. So I think, like, despite his struggles in Omaha, I think he ended up on top. Like, he ended up winning, obviously, but he also ended up with a personal victory in that last game, and I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, like I think in the second game, the broadcast was saying that Thompson and Jobert were combined like 3 for 41.
3 for 42 was
3 for 42
going into the finals.
And I know Jobert hit like 2 home runs, and so that means Jordan Thompson might have had 1 hit going into the final, going into game 2, and then his bat came alive in game 3. We know him as Mr. Clutch last year, and so like once everybody else on the team saw that he got over that hurdle, everybody else just felt a little more loose.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even earlier in this season, he was still being Mr. Clutch. He had a few grand slams earlier in the season that, rocketed the Tigers ahead and to win the games. But, just to see him overcome that slump he was in for that one last game was unbelievable. Shout out to you, Jordan Thompson. I know you're listening.
All right, man. The Tigers, champions, 2023 champions. Can't complain about that.
Not at all. Now we're looking forward to football season.
Yep.
For the Tigers.
Also the off season for LSU baseball. A lot of transfers. Going on. We got a kid from South Carolina, shortstop. I think we got a pitcher from Alabama, and Chase Burns is obviously on the market right now. Jay Johnson. He's probably in his ear whispering sweet nothings. I'd like to see him in a Tigers uniform, purple and gold. I'd like to see it, but we're not there yet. Season is a long way away, so there's plenty of time.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure that the team's going to look very different, but I can still see us having success.
Right.
For at least a few more years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That'll wrap up our Tigers baseball segment. I love talking about Tigers baseball.
Chase Burns about to learn how to peel crawfish. Love you, Redfish.
Yeah.
Redfish is popping off in the chat.
Yeah, dude. He's very
schemes
active.
to the Nats to fulfill the Strasburg prophecy.
Look.
Wait, all right. So as a Nats fan, who would you prefer?
If you had the number 1 pick.
Personally.
Or say Pirates take what's his name?
Wyatt Langford.
Wyatt Langford. Okay, so
because there is talks that they're not going to take Dylan Cruz.
There is. I personally, I think Paul Skeens is more major league ready than Dylan Cruz. However, I think Dylan Cruz shows more major league potential than Paul Skeens. I think you can mold Dylan Cruz because of how good his eye is into whatever you want him to be. I think that because it's so hard in baseball to teach eye, to teach pitch recognition, to teach seeing a pitch, like drawing walks, getting your right pitch to hit, and he already has it. So when he gets to a major league ball club, you have the strength guys, the hitting guys that will tweak his swing probably. You have the athletic trainers like that are gonna rival that of the LSU Tigers, and I think that Dylan Cruz can come into himself even more than what he is at the collegiate level. So I would personally say that I want Dylan Cruz to be a national over Paul Skeens. I think that's where I'm at with it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hoping one of them dropped to 13.
Imagine. That'd be crazy.
All right. So that's enough Tiger baseball. We'll move on. And we'll turn it over to our man with the plan, not named Stan, named Rebo.
We could call him Stan.
Call my dad Stan.
Yeah. He's gonna give us a little rundown of the NBA draft, being our resident Richard Jefferson
Lover.
No, just him.
All right, so this draft was kind of chalk. Like, there wasn't many surprises. Everybody knew the order: 1, 2, 3. Wembanyama, Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson. Everybody was predicting the Rockets to take Amen Thompson. He complements Jalen Green very well. Jalen Green, better shooter. Amen is a better slasher. Everybody was predicting the Pistons to go a different way, but they went ahead and took Amen's twin brother, Asur. I was saying Asur earlier, but it is Asur. And so they have a really young core, and Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey and Asur Thompson. I think they will complement each other very well. Let's see. The Magic with Anthony Black. I wasn't a fan of that pick.
Why not?
They've just picked so many guards back to back to back. I mean, they had Paulo last year with the number 1 pick, but the 2 years before that, they went guard first. They took Jalen Suggs in 2021, and then in 2020 they took Cole Anthony. And so just adding another guard. I mean, he's 6'8", and so like technically he's not a point guard, but like that's what he played at Arkansas. He's definitely he's a built different. I have to say that much. But I wasn't a fan of the Magic going in that direction. I prefer them to try to trade out and land like a Derek Lively, somebody who can back up Wendell Carter Jr. The Pacers and Wizards swapped picks. I wasn't a fan of either pick. Balil Coulibaly, we talked about him last episode. 6'8" guy who plays a whole lot bigger than that. He's going to be a Wizard, even though the Pacers drafted him. That didn't make sense on draft night because they just got rid of Kristaps Porzingis. But here we are. I'm not sure what the Wizards' long-term ideas are.
I don't think the Wizards know either.
And so I'll skip a couple picks because I don't have much to say about the Thunder taking Carson Wallace. And
what do you think about Bryce's guy, Grady Dick, going to the Raptors? Okay.
Yeah, so I was going to go 12, 13, 14.
Okay, yeah, do that.
So the Magic drafted Jet Howard at 11, and so at 12 I was like, okay, we've got Derek Lively still on the board. We've got Grady Dick still on the board. And then Cam Whitmore was falling. He was projected to be the number 5 overall pick. And so I was like, I'm okay with any of these three. Derek Lively, big guy, unproven in college, was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school. He does have a lot of upside, though. Like in the last episode, we talked about him hitting 15 for 15 corner threes in a workout. And then Grady Dick, we all knew he's a shooter, long. I think he's 6'7", wing type player. But I've convinced myself that the Pelicans drafted the best player of the three.
Have you convinced yourself that, or is he the best player of the three?
I believe he is the best player of the three. Draft night, I wanted Lively. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
Yeah.
But I know Redfish loves Jordan Hawkins, who the Pelicans selected. I did not deep dive into his film until after we drafted him. And my crazy comp is that he plays exactly like Steph Curry. He sprints off the ball, will take 2-3 screens, shoot on the run, doesn't necessarily have to have the ball in his hands to be effective. I know Steph Curry is Steph Curry. That's a completely different animal, but their game is very similar, and that's why I'm sold.
Yeah, that's very nice to hear.
Right. As a guy that knows nothing about basketball, if Rebo hustles right and we just got Steph Curry at 14, I'll take it.
Also, we brought in James Borrego to basically be our offensive coordinator in basketball. He's our assistant head coach.
Former head coach of the Charlotte Hornets, right?
Yes. Yeah. And in that offense in Charlotte, they moved a lot. They It was all about off-ball screens, very complimentary to what Jordan Hawkins does. Yeah, I'm excited to have another shooter. Trey Murphy was on the broadcast talking about how there's nobody on the team like him, and that's Trey Murphy was our shooter last year, but Trey has to be still. Where Jordan Hawkins, he can set anywhere and just go up, rise up, shoot above you.
Yeah. It's great to see, the Pelicans bringing some young talent onto the team. That's something we haven't seen much of in a while. Being you're describing him as a moving shooter who can run around the court and shoot.
I guess Steph Curry is like the best thing to think about, but it is very JJ Redick-esque, like coming off of a pin down and sprinting across the court, shooting with his body all sideways. This guy is clutch, and I think that he's a great compliment to Zion Williamson, who we found out during the draft that the Pelicans hadn't even offered in any trade talks.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, especially how much, there was talk about going around that he was getting traded on draft night or even before that.
We even talked about it on the pod.
Yeah.
I feel like the Zion experiment has to end at some point, and it's either going to end with him playing for the Pelicans at some point, or it's not. He's going to get traded from the Pelicans, and he'll be great with another team, but I don't think he's going to be great for the Pelicans again, at least, because he had a good year at some point.
I mean, everybody was saying the same thing about Joel Embiid, who played 82 games out of his first 4. But we just saw Joel Embiid win an MVP this year. I don't know if it's hard not to say, but Joel Embiid embodied trusting the process, and so.
Is that what you see out of Zion Williamson? Do you think he wins an MVP?
Previously, on the last episode, I was unhappy with him not being willing to be in basketball shape at all times, really let himself go when he's not playing.
You even compared him to
Patty the Batty.
Patty the Batty.
Yes. So, but recently at the draft, Trey Murphy confirmed that every time that he's been in the gym at the Pels facility, Zion Williamson's been in the gym at the Pels facility. And then I just saw on Instagram yesterday that he's in Europe, and he was wearing baggy clothes, but you can tell he was in shape.
That's good to hear.
And so I'm excited for the season. I mean, we've seen 3 freak injuries in the past 3 years. It's just, if it was like Greg Oden had to bone 3 freak soft tissue injuries, I think he deserves a chance. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to give up now.
Yeah.
As long as he can stay committed to basketball, there's no reason to give up.
Yeah, as long as I'm still seeing, some hope in him, I'm not going to give up on him. I love the kid, especially what he came to New Orleans and did his rookie year. That was incredible. I know since then, like you said, 3 freak injuries kept him off the court, and a lot of drama going on around him, but I know he'll be able to overcome it and get back on the court and do what he was born to do and win an MVP.
And all I'll say on the drama is it's the NBA. All of those guys sleep around like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so weird because the one person posted a bunch of things on Twitter, and that was why it was a big thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a pretty normal thing for an NBA player to have girlfriends in different cities, which I don't agree with, but it happens.
Yeah, it definitely happens. I mean, these guys are, extremely popular. They're celebrities, basically, and going to all these different cities to play basketball or to train in the off season. Something's gonna happen.
Kind of pivoting a little bit. I wanted to ask each of you, we have it pulled up right now. In these top 20 picks of the first round, is there a standout fit or a standout guy that either of you especially like or don't like on the team that drafted them?
Byron, you go first because I'm going to segue into a different thing.
Okay.
Well, actually, can I want to say, well, Rebo, what do you think about the Hornets drafting this Brandon Miller guy? This because the media has portrayed him as this braggadocious, kind of guy. He called Jordan old, said he was beating him. I think he called Paul George his GOAT.
Yep, Paul George is his GOAT.
So what do you think about him? Do you think he can succeed with these Hornets?
I mean, Brandon Miller isn't gonna be a superstar. I don't think he's gonna be the guy that everyone turns to and it's like, I need a bucket right now. I need you to go get it for me. But I think that he'll be an incredible role player, like top of the line role player? Yes. I think he's a great shooter, great on-ball defender, but he just doesn't have any decision-making skills that we've seen so far. And in order to be a superstar player, you got to have the ball in your hands, and that's not really what he did at Bama.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Interesting take. Got to respect the great mind of Rebo Hustle over here.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily offensive lineman, so don't quote me exactly, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, we couldn't watch the pole drill, so.
Redfish is in our comments. Cam Whitmore was the steal of the first round, but I love the Chris Murray pick by Portland. Thoughts?
The Chris Murray pick was horrible.
Take that.
Our Oregon Donors group chat went go see the Kings play the Pels this year. Chris Murray's twin brother, Keegan Murray, was on the team. He kind of just ran around, didn't do anything. I mean, he was great. He was great this year. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like Chris Murray is just his brother light. Like they do the same thing, but Keegan's a whole lot better. That's why he went out a year before Chris did.
They run around the court for 20 minutes and don't record a single stat.
Yeah. But I will get into Cam Whitmore later.
For me, I personally really like the Scoot Henderson pick to the Blazers. I think he's going to be a great player in the NBA. I haven't really studied up much on the draft. I'm not really the basketball guy, but from what I've seen, very little. I think he's going to be a great player for those Blazers.
All-time name.
Yeah, Scoot. Almost as good as Uwe Blab.
Uwe Blab. Oh, my gosh.
Evidently.
He lobbed it up to me, and I missed it. Oh, my God. Uwe Blab, guys. Spurs legend. Warriors legend. Uwe Blab.
Scoot Henderson said in a pre-draft interview that he had to walk around, carry his birth certificate with him to prove that his name was Scoot all the time. And that's why I was laughing earlier. Redfish said he can't have nothing when I'm around because I had to shoot down the Chris Murray pick.
Yeah. That and his name being Scoot really only adds to my impression of him being great because and you know me, I love the names, I love the nicknames of sports. Like I don't know if any of you have ever seen basketball movie with Will Ferrell's Semi-Pro. They had a player on the team named Coffee Black. That was it. Just said Coffee Black on his jersey. Great. His name before that, so he changed it to Coffee Black. Before that, it was Downtown Funky Stuff Malone. Love it.
But yeah, I love Scoot Henderson. Like we got into it last episode. Guy's serious about basketball, and that's the most exciting part about him.
All right. Enough said.
Yeah.
All right. So to my take, so the Rockets won the draft for me. I was so excited after draft night that we were going to see a young Rockets core fight their way through an NBA season, really learn how to play with each other. You got Amin Thompson who will be Amin Thompson would have been their starting point guard, accompanied Jalen Green. We've seen how good Jalen Green has been over the past couple years. And then they draft Cam Whitmore at 20. That would have been their starting small forward. With the number 2 pick. Was it 2? No, 3 pick last year. They took Jabari Smith Jr. And so that would be their starting 4. And then you have Alfred Sengun. And so that would have been a great young core. Really would have been fun to watch what they could do.
You keep saying would have.
Yeah, because
Yes.
he's about
What
to,
does that mean?
He's about to go into his
Yeah.
next spiel.
I'm gonna pull up my laptop here that I have
Yeah.
every roster move that has happened this offseason, the past 3 days, basically.
Yeah, and I can confirm that it what he said is true because he has a spreadsheet that is 4 pages long.
Hey, page 4 just says that Landry Shamet was traded to the Wizards.
Count it. This is why he's our NBA guy.
So the Rockets made the first big splash, as Redfish is saying.
Freddie Big Bags.
Freddie Big Bags. Fred VanVleet got 3 years, $128.5 million.
It's a healthy check.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you look back on him and how he started out in the NBA with the Raptors, and he kind of wasn't recognized as much. But when Kawhi went
He's
away,
undrafted free agent.
yeah, when Kawhi went away, and he came up and proved himself and to everybody else that he belongs here. So great to see him get paid and get the recognition he deserves.
So you get a bag like that, you're starting point guard.
Yeah.
There's no question. So Amen will be coming off the bench, maybe. And then you draft Cam Whitmore to be your 3. You go out in free agency. Memphis doesn't want to re-sign DB Dylan Brooks. 4 years, $80 million. I'm confused. This guy just wants to take a dribble step back, shoot the ball. Like he thinks he's like prime Michael Jordan or prime AI, and really it's just all bricks. He's a great defender, don't get me wrong. One of the best mouths in the game. Like, dude can talk his way in and out of anything.
Yeah, he rivals Zaza Pachulia in that.
And so you have those two guys. You're probably gonna be starters, and then you go out and get Jock Landale from the Suns. You sign him 4 years, $32 million. I'm not sure if they're gonna start him over Sengun because I know that the Rockets organization loves Sengun. Personally, I feel like they're the same player. I'm not a fan of Sengun. Jock Landale can do a little bit more, in my opinion, but
Yeah, I mean he definitely had some quality minutes towards the end of the season with the Suns.
yeah. And so last year the Rockets were a really young team, and this year via free agency they've gotten a lot of vets. So you got those 3 guys, and then you got Uncle Jeff Green on a 1 year, $6 million, and so that'll be a good veteran presence in that locker room. I'm excited to see what the Rockets have cooking up this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, so to
New
recap,
coach too.
they drafted a point guard and a small forward.
Yep.
And very recently drafted a center.
Yep.
And this offseason they signed for a good chunk of change, a point guard,
Small
a
forward.
small forward,
And a
and a center.
Yep. But they also brought in Ime Udoka to be their head coach. He was previously Boston's head coach whenever they made their finals run. I mean, I'm sure they have a vision for what they want. I just found it interesting that I was really excited about this Rockets team until I found out that all these big name free agents were going to the Rockets, and it's like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I'm no basketball guy, but maybe it's a scenario where maybe like you're just gearing up for the year after this following year. Like you bring in these vets to kind of get some of the playing time, kind of take some of the load off of these younger guys, so it's not just like all of these young guys playing on a team.
Yeah, so they're not just like
so that they
sink
have
or swim.
so that they have some kind of veteran leadership, and then the next year you have your picks from next year's draft, and you have these young guys that you already have, and then that's the year you go all in and you try and win the chip.
I mean, yeah, I agree that bringing these vets in is a good thing. I just thought that they would bring more guys in like Jeff Green, like just like small roster filler, veteran players. But
Dylan Brooks,
Dylan
veteran
Brooks,
knowledge.
Dylan Brooks, and then the bag that they gave Fred VanVleet. I just don't understand what their goal was with that.
Yeah, definitely a head scratcher. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that. Even if you go down to Houston and ask them,
Right.
they're probably pissed off, but they always are with the Rockets. So, you said you had 4 pages Let's not hear all 4 pages.
Oh no, I'm not going to.
Let's just hear, what some of the ones you like the most, some of the ones you think were the best fit, or like the best moves for the team or for
What about the ones I hate?
the player, and
You
of
can give
course,
the ones you hate the
and
most.
of
Yeah.
course the ones you hate.
All right, I'm a hater, so I'm gonna start with the ones I hate.
Yes, you are.
The Raptors made a bunch of lateral moves, in my opinion. They re-signed Jakob Poeltl, 4 years, $80 million, which is lucrative for the center market. Because like guys like Miles Turner, rim protector, and can shoot. He's only making like $17 million a year. Jakob Poeltl can't shoot, can rebound okay, isn't a great rim protector, but you're paying him $20 million a year. I'm not sold on that pick. I ain't on that pickup. I know Redfish loves the Dennis Schroeder pickup from the Raptors. They got him on 2 years, $25.4 million. I mean, if you were talking about bringing back Freddie, if you're saving over $100 million in that contract. And so I think it's a lateral move, but it's team friendly. And then Jaden McDaniel, Jalen, not Jaden, the brother,
Jaden Daniels.
Jalen McDaniels.
Don't get me started.
2 years, $9.25 million. Really sells what the stereotype of a Raptors player has been lately. They went and got a wing with size, defensive versatility. It doesn't make much sense because it's just what the Raptors stereotype is. They have 8 guys like him on the roster. Any comments?
Nope, not at all. Look, I don't know who these guys are. I know. I've heard of Dennis Schroeder. I've heard of Jakob Poeltl because of the viral game Poeltl. That's the only reason I know him.
All right. From one I hated to one I love. The Cavs. I've been the Cavs fan since they traded for Donovan Mitchell. I think they got a great young core. They went out and got one of Byron's favorite players, Max Strus. 4 years, $63 million, the bag he deserves.
Yes.
And that team has struggled with shooting for 3 and 4 years now. It really is a good fit. They also re-signed Karol Savert, 2 years, $32 million. They went out, took Georges Niang from the 76ers. Not gonna use the numbers there, but he's making a good chunk of change. He's versatile big, similar to Larry Nance. Maybe shoots the rock a little bit better, but not as much of a center as Larry is. And then they also went out and got Ty Jerome, great backup point guard. Not great backup point guard, but can get you minutes.
Serviceable.
Yeah, can get you minutes. So how do you feel about Max Strus getting his bag?
I mean, yeah, I think he. A lot of people didn't even know who he was till the playoffs came, and I don't watch much basketball, so for me to know who Max Strus was and know that he could shoot the lights out, that's saying something. Because basically any Heat game I watched all season, when he would come in, he was putting up threes.
Have the Heat done anything this offseason yet besides lose Max Strus? Because I find it very.
Let me find it.
I find it very intriguing that they make it to the finals.
Yes.
And then they lose. Like, how do you follow something like that
Yeah.
up?
So
Of course he has with the Heat.
Right.
Then.
They re-signed Kevin Love, 2 years,
Yes.
Thank God.
$7.6 million.
Thank God Kevin Love is back. He was really saving
Sure,
that team.
Miami's relieved.
As a Pels fan, I'm relieved for the next one. They took Josh Richardson off of our hands, 2 years, $5.9 million. I'm glad the Pelicans didn't pay him that. I think he's a serviceable player, but he also has the Dylan Brooks complex where he thinks he can just shoot whenever. They also went out and got Thomas Bryant, one of the better backup bigs in the league, 2 years, $5.3 million. Super team-friendly deal. I wish the Pelicans would have offered him that. I would love to have him in a Pels uniform. And then they went and got Orlando Robinson. I don't know who he is.
Fair.
That's
Which is
that
a
might
Heat
be-
thing.
Yeah.
Redfish says he's preparing for Damian Lillard to be a Heat.
Yeah, there's definitely been some talks around it.
That feels like a good fit.
I do think it would propel that team. It probably would have given them that edge to, make the finals series a little more competitive.
Yeah, be more of like a playoff team rather than a play-in team.
Yeah.
Like you skip the play-in.
Yeah.
So with the Dame situation, it's getting a little weird. Portland saying that they don't want draft capital, they don't want young guys, they want star for star trade, which always gets a little weird in the NBA.
That's so hard to do.
You get like the the James Harden Ben Simmons trade. One of them doesn't work out. But that is a name that I personally think that they could do. James Harden for Damian Lillard. Dame would play very well in Philadelphia. That's where I think that he'll go if
Dame and Embiid.
If the extension from James Harden pans out, they can sign and trade basically.
Yeah. But wherever he goes, I'm sure it'll cause some ruckus in the league next year. Definitely some turnover, which, it's always good to see different things happening. Unless you're a Portland fan who loves Dame, you'd probably cry. I know I would.
And so the last moves I'll talk about is our Pelicans. I loved one of the moves. The other one's okay.
Okay. He didn't hate it, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
You get.
Let's talk about the one that's okay first.
Okay. Cody Zeller came out 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Signed 1 year, $3.1 million. Like Byron was telling me earlier, plays a similar role as Willie Hernangomez. But the one huge plus side that makes it okay for me and not just meh is he's played for James Borrego before.
Yeah.
He sets hard screens. He was on that Heat team. He has playoff experience.
Yeah, he's played a good bit of minutes, too,
for
Borrego.
He's going to be a great leader in the locker room. I just think that he's underrated. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not the hugest fan of him, but he does set hard screens. Has been in the offense before. Will really show Zion JV, or if they move on from JV, anything like that. Really show them the ropes on how to be the big in the James Borrego offense. And then, unfortunately, the Pelicans turned down Herb Jones's team option going into the offseason. But shortly after that, they signed him to 4 years, $56.25 million. Super excited for Herb. He had a rocky start to last year, but will really lock up your best player. I mean, there's so many things that we can say about Herb.
Right, we know what he can do. He's worth it.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the best contracts that of the offseason. Fair for both sides, player and team. He's making about 15 mil a year, which isn't bad. I think he makes 12 the first year and ends with like 16. I'm excited. I mean, you lock down one of your perimeter defender, like your premier defender on the team. You lock him down for 4 more years. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I love watching, her play defense. Literally, like you said, he'll go out there and just lock down whoever they want him to. He's such a great defender. I just hope that, in these next 4 years? Next 4 years, he can, get his offensive game a little bit better and, get some points on the other end. Because I know he's, that's kind of the part where he struggled. And just to be able to have, the double-edged sword. Because personally, I think that playing defense is much harder than scoring. So if he can get that down, talk about a steal.
Literally.
Second round pick. I mean, no one thought that Herb Jones, who led Bama to, I think, the Elite Eight, where they lost to Jared Butler and the Baylor Bears. No one thought that him making it to the Elite Eight, being the guy on the team, but also being a little older. No one really looked at him as a draft prospect in 2021. Yes. and but it panned out for the Pels. They got a great defender. The guy was playing in the Elite Eight with a broken hand. Like, I mean, gritty guy. Like,
Yeah.
I will be happy if we have a roster full of Herb Joneses. Just grit.
Dedication. Anything else you'd like to point out in the NBA offseason moves?
The Grizzlies,
Okay.
who are facing 25 game suspension from John
Yeah.
Morant.
Should have been more, in my opinion.
They went and got veteran presence at the point guard, Derrick Rose, 2 years, $6.5 million.
Guns N' Roses.
But they also were involved in a trade this offseason that brought them Marcus Smart, and so he'll be the starting point guard for the first couple games. And then once Ja gets back, I think Marcus can really play the defensive role that Dylan Brooks was playing last year. It's just, is Desmond Bane able to size up with the small forwards in the league when he was really playing the 2 last year? I'm excited to see what Memphis has in store for the year, especially facing that 25-game suspension.
Well, after this 25-game suspension is up, will these off-season moves, will they be able to propel a Grizzlies team that was pretty disappointing in the playoffs? Will it be able to propel them past a team like the Nuggets, a team like the Heat?
So last playoffs, I think being without Steven Adams really hurt them. I mean, he's their defensive anchor. I know Triple J won Defensive Player of the Year this year, but just not having Steven Adams out there is like a completely different atmosphere. You're asking Omar Spellman to be your guy. No, Xavier Tillman, not Omari Spellman. 2 different guys. Sorry. But yeah, I think that they know the formula is just having Marcus Smart be your defender at the shooting guard compared to having Dylan Brooks be your defender at the 3. I think that they're both gritty. Marcus, and now you've got the past 2 defensive players of the year are both on the Memphis Grizzlies with Marcus Smart and Triple J. And so, like, we know they're going to defend. It's just how do they come together offensively is the real question.
Yeah, and that's always a big factor in the NBA. I mean, we've seen all these super teams that just don't mesh well. But if they can do it, it'd be a great turnaround because, like Lott had just said, they were pretty disappointing in the playoffs.
Score update. U.S. men's soccer team is up 3-0 on Trinidad and Tobago.
Let's go! Yes!
Happy birthday, America.
Yes! 4th of July weekend, fellas.
Yeah.
It's feeling good. When I was in Cleveland last week, I get a baseball hat from every major league stadium I go to, and one of the ones that caught my eye at Progressive Field was the 4th of July hats. So I got a Cleveland 4th of July hat.
Nice.
Just a little fun fact for you, man. I thought you would want to know that.
I appreciate that. I did want to know that, actually. I guess that'll, if Rebo's done, that'll segue us into
baseball.
Our next topic, which will be the MLB, but more importantly, our new segment, Lots, Red Hots, and Knots. He's going to talk about a team or a player or both that he think is red hot, just coming out of nowhere, or that is not.
I'm not excited for this opening this first segment from him because I know exactly where he's going for his knots.
Okay. Let's start with the National League. Let's start with some knots, maybe. Okay? Maybe don't watch my Washington Nationals. Horrible team, 34-49.
Hey, 6-4 in the last 10.
We've been hot. Maybe don't watch Byron's Cubbies.
Yeah, if you go like a week ago, you watch the Cubbies.
Maybe don't watch the Cubbies.
But
They have 2 guys on the team. They have Justin Steele, Marcus Stroman, both All-Stars. Tune into those games. Fine.
Well, Dansby Swanson's an All-Star too.
For some reason. I don't think he should be, maybe. I
Hey.
don't know. I haven't really watched the Cubs, is what I'm saying.
Padres have 2 reserves, is all I'm saying.
Don't watch Rebo Hustle's Padres. The team with an incredible payroll. They're paying Manny Machado. They're paying Fernando Tatis. They're paying their starting
Juan
rotation.
Soto.
They're not paying him yet. They have to.
Yeah.
Xander
If they want to keep
Bogaerts.
him. They're paying Xander Bogaerts. This is a team that their starting rotation has been incredible. They have the lowest team ERA in the majors since May, which is unbelievable considering that they're a hefty 38-46. They're 4th in the West.
This is my favorite segment yet.
They're 3-7 in the last 10.
They're 3-7 in the last 10. They lost a series to my Nationals, and they lost a series today to the Cincinnati Reds. My thing is with these Padres, they cannot hit with runners in scoring position. They are the least clutch team maybe to ever play the game.
God, they are 11 and a half games back.
I don't want to talk about it.
The West is good, man. I mean, like, we can transition into teams to watch based off of these Padres. Let's start in the West. All right? The teams that are hot. The Diamondbacks. They're 5-5 in their last 10, but they're consistently good. They're ahead of the Dodgers in the West, which is unprecedented from last year. We're looking at the Giants, who are 5-5 in their last 10, but over their last 30, they've been red hot. They were on a win streak at the same time as the Cincinnati Reds. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Reds.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Ellie De La Cruz, young phenom, cycle.
Dog.
He's so fast. He's slumping a little bit right now. But the Reds are a team that were on a win streak, and then they lose the win streak, lose that series to the Braves, then win a series against the Orioles, top team in the majors, then win a series against the Padres, not a top team, but still a formidable team.
Yeah, to
Reds
say.
haven't lost a series since the Braves. So the Reds are sitting atop of the Central tied with the Brewers, and I'd like to see the Reds make a push this year. Look, I'm always impartial towards the Reds. My dad is a Reds fan, so I know a lot about the Reds. These Reds look really good. Can they beat the Braves, which are the best team in baseball? Maybe not. But keep an eye out for the 2024 Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
That's a team that's going to have a lot of guys. They might make some postseason moves. How do we get to the American League, man?
I will say that Redfish is a huge fan of the title of Lots Red Hots or Nots.
Y'all ever eat Red Hots? The cinnamon candy?
Yeah.
I like how when we switched to this segment, the sun kind of went behind a cloud or something, so we got a little darker. It's a lot more serious now.
Yeah.
Passion's coming.
Okay, the American League, I'm going to be honest. I do not care as much. But
Redfish is pissed.
let's talk about teams yet you don't need to watch. Some losers in the American League. Okay? You don't have to watch the Royals. You don't have to watch the White Sox. The White Sox are so bad, they lost to the A's twice in the past 2 days. I don't even know if they won today. I haven't checked my phone. You don't have to watch the Tigers. You don't have to watch the American League Central.
Period.
Yeah.
The Twins,
They're all under 500.
the Twins lead the division. They're under 500 on the season. I am
Only
not.
one game under 500.
Are they under 500 or
But
not?
they are still under 500.
I mean, you look at the AL East, they're all over 500.
And let's ignore the fact that my Cubs are about to lose the series to the Guardians.
Those Guardians, the Guardians are about to take the lead again. Maybe watch that. Maybe for the sake of playoff implications, watch the Guardians and the Twins for the rest of the season. See who will finish on top, because whoever wins is getting a playoff spot. No
Yeah.
one else in the Central is getting a playoff spot. So it's something to think about. We could look at the West. Athletics, losers. Historically bad team. They're 23-62.
Yeah, they pulled the old reverse boycott.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And then you got the Mariners in 4th in the West. They don't look great either. They're under 500.
It's too bright if you turn the light on.
Made the playoffs last year. It just they've been pretty disappointing. Ugh, gosh.
Let me try and fix the lighting situation, but continue.
These Angels, though, we can talk about the Angels. The Angels are kind of cold right now, but they were hot. And they have the best player in baseball on their team. There's this one guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, Shohei Ohtani. He has 31 home runs before the All-Star break. 10 stolen bases, first player in history to do that. Guess what? He also has the lowest batting average against in the league as a pitcher. This guy is pretending to be Babe Ruth, but he's not Babe Ruth. He's better than Babe Ruth. That's what I'm looking at here, fellas. You have to watch Shohei Ohtani. If you watch the Angels, do it for no other reason. Don't do it for Rendon. Don't do it for Michael Trout. Watch for Shohei Ohtani because he is doing something that we've never seen before and will probably never see again. And then you got the Red Sox. We can talk about the Red Sox a little bit. Look, they're over 500, but they're in the East. The East is tough. The East is a tough division to win in. I mean, the Rays, they're pretty good. The Orioles have been on kind of a skid, but they've been playing some tough teams. Like they've been playing the Red Hot Reds. They've been playing the Twins, who are division leaders at this point. They were losing today's game. Sonny Gray started for the Twins. They were losing today's game until Duran, the Twins closer, blew it. But yeah, I think that's all we're looking at, the big stories. I don't want to talk about the Yankees. Yankees are super uninteresting this year. They're not great at all.
Yeah.
Blue Jays, they're not uninteresting. It's just like they're in the East. Like they have to be able to make a playoff team. Because of how they've been in their last 30, they're out of the wild card spot. The Angels, same thing. They're out of the wild card spot. So like it'll be interesting how the playoff picture lines up with these, if these teams can bounce back or if they keep regressing. If they keep regressing, then we'll get a more traditional kind of playoff picture, but which I really don't want. I need the Orioles to be in the playoffs for my sanity. I need to know that it's working, what they're doing. They have the best farm in baseball. Everybody knows that, but it's just something to look at. What other players can I talk about? Let's talk about Luis Arias, league leader in OBP. His OBP is like 490, something silly, and he's batting like 380. A week ago, he was batting 399. He was batting 400. Keep an eye on him. If he bats 400, it'll be the first time ever done since Ted Williams in, 1945? It was something like that.
Yeah. You think he'll beat Ty Cobb? He went, what was it, 400?
I don't know.
A long ass time ago.
I don't know, dude. Ty Cobb was crazy. You know who played with Ty Cobb? Bob Fothergill. Big guy. He was a drinker. He loved the game of baseball. I'm not going to talk about Bob Fothergill. Why?
I thought you were.
Why did I start talking about
I was
Bob
ready
Fothergill?
for it.
No, but okay. For real. American League, I gave you a bunch of teams not to watch. I'll give you 3 teams to watch in the American League. Watch the Rangers. They're really good this year. Their starting rotation's really good. Their hitting is out of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Josh Jung, Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager. All those guys are great. Watch the Rangers. You have the Rays. They're colder than they were to start the season, but they're still having unprecedented success with Yandy Diaz, Arozarena, Wander Franco. All those guys are playing out of their mind. Shane
McClanahan, yeah.
McClanahan's looking like a Cy Young candidate. Okay? And then watch the Angels, man. Watch Shohei Ohtani, man. Go watch him play. People need to know more about Shohei Ohtani. People need to know more about the Los Angeles Angels. They have so many players on that team. Why are they not better? Why are they not the best team in the league?
I've been asking myself that question for like 3 years now.
Well,
all right, man. That's all I got.
That's it.
That was the most passionate segment of all time.
Home run derby's coming in. Who you guys got in the home run derby? So far, it's Vladdy Jr., it's Mookie Betts, it's Julio Rodriguez, and Randy Arozarena.
Give me Julio Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah? He had a great appearance in last year's All-Star game.
I'll take Vladdy Jr.
Vladdy Jr., he was great against Jock Peterson a few years back. Give me someone on the other side. I mean, there's still 4 more people to be revealed. So Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber again.
Maybe
yeah.
we'll get a Kyle Schwarber. Maybe we'll get a Pete Alonso sighting again. It'd be very nice. Redfish, Rangers, Braves, World Series. Book it. I don't mind it. Last time I was on here, I said Rangers are going to make the World Series.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about it.
Hopefully,
Braves are looking a little too good right now. Braves are looking like they're about to spoil all of the fun. That's what it seems like the Braves are about to do.
Let's for Redfish's sake, let's hope it doesn't wind up like his last prediction
What was that?
for the World Series, which was the Blue Jays.
They're both out in the first round.
What do you say? Blue Jays, Phillies? He said something like that. Blue Jays, Dodgers?
Said, hey, watch it. Who was your other team? Was it the Phillies? No. I think it was the Braves, right?
Yeah, they were out early. Does that make sense?
I'll have to go through the archives and check it.
Oh! Speaking of the Braves, another hot guy. Watch Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm not pausing.
No pause. No pause.
Watch Ronald Acuna Jr., okay? He has over 30 stolen bases. He has 21 home runs. Guys, he's going to have a 40-40 season. First one in a long time. I think the sixth guy to ever do it. Fifth or sixth guy to ever do it. Pay attention to that. This is baseball history. Like, this is important stuff, and people will recognize that 2023 is the year this happened. The day they added the pitch clock, the day they expanded the bases, is the day baseball changed forever. And that's what I'm trying to get through your head, people.
The day the Tigers won the 7th national championship.
And there it is. The Baton Rouge Tigers, 2023 champions.
We've come full circle, boys.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Ooh, Padres, Blue Jays. At least it rhymed, Bryce.
we made our way there, though.
All right. So actually, let's do this. Since Redfish gave us his prediction, let's go down the line. Way too early prediction. Major League Baseball World Series.
Okay, I certainly like the Braves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Braves, like I said, the Braves are looking a little too good.
A little too good, yeah.
A little too good. I have Braves in the National League, and in the American League, it's kind of a toss-up. Like, right now, it's looking like the American League is fighting for who gets to play the Braves in the World Series. That's kind of what it looks like. Give me, just for fun, give me those Orioles.
Oh, yeah.
They've been on a recent skid, but they're young. They're fun. I like them. I think they'll be buyers at the deadline, August 1st. And I think they're going to bring in an arm, maybe two, to help alleviate that offense. Because that offense has kind of been slumping too. So maybe they bring a bat in as well. It just depends on what they do at the deadline. I think this is going to be a very important trade deadline for a lot of teams. So I think it should be very active. But right now, just because I like them a lot. I like Camden Yards. I think I like the orange. I like the black. Give me...
You like that gaudy orange?
I like that gaudy orange. That movie's not great. The Blind Side is not a great movie. But give me the Orioles versus the Braves in the World Series.
Interesting. Rebo, would you like to go next?
I haven't even watched my Padres play this year. I think I watched a total of 6 innings this entire year.
Lucky dog.
But I have been getting an alert for every run scored in a Padres game, and boy, am I tired of seeing alerts that the other team has scored. I mean, if it's pretty chalk to have Braves Rangers as Redfish did, so I'm not one for chalk. So let's go with a hot team, the Cincinnati Reds out of the NL.
Yes!
Oh, wow.
Yes!
Y'all know I like a little hot take. And then...
Now for the AL.
Let's say the Angels get it together.
Wow.
If the Reds and Angels
That's
make
two.
the World Series this year,
It'll be a red World Series.
look for this man and arrest him. He did something to rig it. Because that would be the most insane prediction of all time.
Yeah, that.
I mean, they have the 2 best players in the league. Let's say they get together.
Okay, I can respect it. For me, I'm gonna go with a team that, well, in the NL, a team that hasn't seen success like this in such a long time, maybe ever. And the Arizona Diamondbacks.
The D-backs.
Love that.
Do I think they'll be in the playoffs? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, will they be able to be as successful as they are now in the playoffs? That's still up for grabs.
That is the big question.
Up for debate. But I can see it happening. I know it's way too early. But yeah, so in the NL, give me the Diamondbacks, and in the AL, I don't even have to look at it. Give me the Rays.
Big Rays guy.
I like the way the Rays are playing baseball right now.
See, I know it's a tale as old as time that the Rays are secretly the best team in baseball, and they make the playoffs, and then they make it deep in the playoffs. But I can't keep betting on the Rays, man. I think they will fall apart.
I was
at
about
some
to
point.
ask.
August or September, they're going to fall apart. It's just going to be because of injury. Like, McClanahan went on the 15-day IL. They're getting Rasmussen back, but who knows if he's going to be the same as he once was. Like, they're getting guys back, but who's to say that they stay healthy? I worry about their health, personally.
I was going to ask, as the guy who's, like, least versed in baseball out of the three of us, probably out of our whole group, don't they normally start the year every year they start off real hot, and then eventually they start to fall off a little bit?
Not as hot as they did this year, though.
Right. They started off this year with a 13-game win streak, which is unprecedented. I think the Rays are always in the playoff picture, but nobody talks about them because the Rays are never flashy. Mm-hmm. Like, the Rays are in the same division with the Yankees, who have
fly
Aaron
under
Judge
the radar,
and a Garrett Cole. They're in the same division as the Red Sox with Rafael Devers, the Blue Jays, Vladdy Jr., and Bo Bichette, and all those guys. And Matt Chapman. And the Orioles are usually towards the bottom. But the Rays, they really don't have, like, that wow factor. I mean, they have Wander Franco now. They have Randy Arozarena now. But, I mean, historically, they've really just been the team that has kind of floated into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Because of that, they kind of have a Moneyball thing going on. But
love that movie.
Me too. I'm also really excited in this MLB season about how the small market teams with little payroll are performing. There are some teams leading their divisions who have a really low payroll. Like, the Rays have a low payroll. The Orioles have a low payroll. The Twins and the Guardians have super low payrolls. The Rangers, not so much. They have a really high payroll. But we can talk about the most disappointing team in the league, which is the Mets. The Mets have the highest payroll in MLB history, and they're 10 games under 500. Like, it is a completely crazy kind of switch of circumstances that they've had. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Like, these small market teams with really low payrolls sneaking into the playoffs and performing. That's something I'm paying attention to, at least. Do with it what you will.
Well, I think that'll just about wrap up this episode of Off the Dome. Two great minds right here for two completely different sports.
They both contain balls.
I think we were both lost in each other's sport. I had no idea. Like, he was naming names I've never heard of in baseball. And
then I named Uwe Blab.
And then he keeps bringing up Uwe Blab.
Basketball player, dude. Look
German.
Him up. Oh, he's German? I didn't even know that.
Found out today.
All right. Yeah. I think that just about does it for the Off the Dome Sports podcast. I am Clown Car.
And I'm Rebo Hustle.
And I'm Mustang.
And this has been the Off the Dome podcast, brought to you by The Know. Follow them on Facebook. Follow them on Twitter. Check out the website, spelled K-N-E-A-U-X, the only way to spell it. And we will see you next time.